Welcome to the Bodhi Academy. My name is Shrutika and today we will continue with the chapter Principles of Inheritance and Variation. Today in the second part of this chapter we will learn about the crosses, that is the laws of inheritance. So inheritance of one gene, that is monohybrid cross. So Mendel crossed tall and dwarf pea plant and collected all the seeds obtained from this cross. He grew all the seeds to generate plants of first hybrid generation called as the F1 generation, and he observed that all the plants were tall. Similarly, observation was found to be in other pair of traits. So what he did was he grew plants, that is tall and dwarf pea plants, and collected the seeds which was obtained from this crop. So after this seeds, he grew those seeds again, and he found that all the plants which were obtained were tall. So this he called as the F1 generation, like here. Now the inheritance of one gene. So here he took two pea plant, that is a tall and a short, and then what he did was he artificially pollinated them, and he got a pair of seeds. Those seeds he again grew and he got all the plants as tall pea plant. So this was the first step in his experiment. So this he called as the F1 generation, that is filial 1 progeny. So Mendel self-pollinated the F1 plants and found that the F2 generation some plants are also dwarf. The proportion of dwarf plant is 1/4 and tall plant was 3 out of 4. So after doing this, that is what he did was, after getting this, he again cross-pollinated them. That is, he took, this was the first parent and this was the two parent plant from where he got the F1 generation. That is the tall, all plants were tall. Again what he did was he did selfing of the F1 generation and he got F2 generation, wherein he found that all the plants which he got from there, 3 were tall and 1 was top. So he gave a, so this was called as a monohybrid cross. So he gave that, he said, he proposed that the proportion, the ratio of the plant was 3:1, that is 3 tall and 1 dwarf. So Mendel called the factors that passes through gametes from one generation to next generation. So the gametes which pass from one generation to another generation, he termed it as factors. So now it is called as genes. So these are called as genes that we inherit from the parents. So likewise in plants and human beings also, we inherit factors, that are genes, from our parents. So genes that code for a pair of contrasting traits are known as alleles, and the genes that code for the pair of contrasting traits are called as alleles. So alphabetical symbols are used to represent each gene. Capital letters, that is TT, expresses genes in F1 generation, and small t expresses gene in other generation. So capital T is basically dominant gene, and small t are basically recessive genes that we have seen in our last video. So Mendel also proposed that in true breeding, tall and dwarf variety allelic pairs of genes for height is homozygous, that is capital T or small t, that is same pair of genes, that is it can be either dominant gene or recessive gene. These are called as homozygous genes, and the tall and dwarf are called as the phenotype. So the hybrids which contain alleles which express contrasting trait are called as heterozygous, that is capital T, small t, that is one recessive and one dominant. The monohybrid ratio of F2 hybrid is 3:1, that is phenotypic, and 1:2:1, it is genotypic. So this is the monohybrid ratio of the F2 generation. So now we will see the principles or laws of inheritance. So based on observation of monohybrid cross, Mendel proposed two laws of inheritance. So the first law of inheritance states that the characters are controlled by distinct units called as factors. So factors are also called as the genes. Factors also always occur in pairs. Okay, so the contrasting genes, they always occur in pairs. In a dissimilar pair of factors, one member of pair dominates the other. So in a dissimilar pair of factors, one will be a dominant factor and the other will be a recessive factor. Then we will see the second law of inheritance, that is law of segregation. Alleles do not blend and both the characters are recovered during gamete formation, as in F2 generation. During gamete formation, traits segregate, that is, they separate from each other and pass to different gametes. Homozygous produces similar kinds of gametes, but heterozygous produces different kinds of gametes with different traits, that is, one dominant, one recessive. But in homozygous, it will be only either dominant or recessive. So this was about law of segregation and law of dominance. So in today's video, what we have learned is what is the inheritance of one gene, that is, we have seen what is monohybrid cross. Then we have seen certain terms, that is heterozygosity, homozygosity, then factors, genes. Then we have seen alphabetical representation of the factors and genes, and we have also seen law of inheritance, that is for law of dominance and law of segregation. So thank you for watching today's video. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to the Bodhi Academy.